What's up, YouTubers? Today we're going to take a look at the Ferrum Forge design, Pro-Tech manufactured and mass drop produced or sold, if you will, aka drop.com. Obviously, this is a fidget king. This is the Mordax. Don't know exactly what that means. Haven't looked it up, but it sounds like some sort of futuristic thing. In any case, why did I buy this knife? Well, this knife, I was watching these knives live, and everybody's struggling to get the Malibu, the Pro-Tech Malibu, and somebody had made mention of this in the comments. So I went ahead and took a look at it. It costs a little bit more, about $50 more than the Malibu. This is $250 knife versus the $200 for the Malibu. But it looked as though a lot of similar elements, and especially some of the design for a plunge lock, as plunge locks go. And boy, did Pro-Tech nail this, and the Ferrum Forge guys did a great job. So, butt lock is kind of a mania. Button lock is kind of a mania right now. And so I had used one for a little bit of for quite a time. And this also, what I found better about this one versus the Malibu was that it's actually a drop point. So I've got some belly there and not just a Warncliffe blade. So for me, this was a double win for the extra $50. And like I said, I think I have a feel now for what the Malibu would be like, that drop steady action. So let's go ahead and throw in some comparison knives out there. First one I have that my original button lock was the Hogue EX03. Again, also has great fidgetiness. And then the Orion Knife Solaris. So this is the one decked out in the Goblin Green, as I call it. Also another button lock. This particular one, as decked out with the accents and the scales, is like $105 total, maybe up to $115. But so a fair bit lower price for that one. And then the Hogue EX03 was like $135 for that one, and that was last year's prices. So I'm not really sure. Actually, yeah, last year that seems about right. So in any case, this folding knife sports a 3.5-inch blade. It is made of 20 CV steel, so nice and super steely there. It weighs 3.9 ounces, and it prices at $250, as I already mentioned. Everything about this knife is just fantastic. The blade is perfectly centered. The action is obviously incredible. We're going to jump right into the pros of this thing. The closed position detent of this knife is the best by far of any button lock, certainly of the other two that I have had. You can't shake this one out without some extreme hitting, and it's also just very tight and snug in there. Plunge locks are actually quite difficult to get exactly right, but this one absolutely is nailed. What I like about this knife is it's actually available. This particular one is the Mordax is available on Amazon now, but with only the milled out one. The smooth ones are not available anymore. Those seem to be sold out. So your mileage may vary, but as of the time of this, there's definitely several of the ones with the pretty milling. The milling looks nice. It's just I knew it wouldn't be quite as comfortable in hand, and it's not. The ergos on this one are great. It has a very usable front choil. Fits a medium-large hand. Again, this is quite a large knife with a 3.5-inch blade there. The blue anodizing is absolutely beautiful. Pro-Tech just nailed it. This is an aluminum frame, and the coloring is just, it's amazing. And in fact, it has a great little frosty, chalky texture, but it's not as severe as some of theirs, and it's not as severe also as some of the Kershaws, if you've ever used some of their autos. Have quite a chalky substance. This is just marvelous. The recessing button of this one is fantastic. So if you take a look at this one from the side, in fact, yeah, I have a little flat up here. I can kind of demonstrate that this button is completely recessed in there, and then even when it's fully deployed, it's still recessed there. And so that's kind of hard, I think, to do, because for example, the Orion Knife Solaris, you'll notice that this button sticks out a fair bit, and then when it goes back, it still sticks out a little bit, so it comes out even more. Let's go ahead and watch that. And you'll notice how it comes out a fair bit, and that's not uncommon. That's the exact same thing with my Hogue EX. So this one uses some sort of magical and great tolerances to really just get that plunge in there for the lock side, and then also when it's in the return position. So fantastic. This knife is really good in gloves. Of course, most button locks are, but I was afraid with that recessed thing that it would actually be a little bit tough to get to in gloves, and it's not. This one actually, if you need to use in gloves, you have to press a little bit harder with the recession there, but it goes in just fine. So I really like that. The high flat saber grind cuts really well. This wasn't the greatest slicer when I did some boxes. Part of that is on the downside. The sharpening job wasn't the best in the world, but I used this solid for 3 straight weeks for everything, cutting apples, cutting everything I could find. And like I said, on the box side, it just didn't do the greatest, even though it's relatively thin blade stock. You know, so it's not overly thick. The fit and finish, no looseness anywhere at any point along the way. I mean, I almost want to take this thing apart and know if it has like multi-row bearings or what. But after I watched Nick Shabazz really couldn't get this one apart without doing potential damage since it wasn't his, I figured I'm not going to go ahead and take this apart, especially while it just rides amazing. Guaranteed in 3 weeks I've probably flipped this thing about 10,000 times. Well, certainly 3,000 times. So great fidgetiness to it. I mean, it's just, you can just see how it, you know, I mean, if you push the button, you know, it just rides like this. So yeah, I'm gushing again. All right, onto the con side. This is a $250 flipper made out of aluminum. So, you know, take that for what it's worth. If it's outside the budget range and you're waiting for something a little bit less, then maybe wait for the availability of the Malibus. But boy, this thing's fantastic. Oh, one more thing I forgot to mention. If you take a look at the channel there at which the button is available, a lot of times Pro-Tech knives have a very straight access there. Oops, losing some focus. But this particular one has these nice little flanges, and they flange off, and it makes it all the more great and accessible. So no sharp edges there. Fantastic. And then the last thing that really, I mean, the clip is done well, but it's only available for right-handed carry. So they wanted to keep the show site here all clean and so forth. So man, what can I say is if you're looking for a butt lock, you have a little bit more to spend, and you want to step up to that next level of just completely tight, you know, amazing tolerances. I like those other two a lot. This one is a next level though, and it comes with next level pricing. So boy, if you're into that, this is an absolute marvelous knife. The Pro-Tech, or the Ferrum Forge design Pro-Tech Mordax. So hope you enjoyed this. If you did, go ahead and hit like and subscribe, and have a great day. Take care now.